All right, if you're watching this, hopefully you've never lost a tooth, but let's talk about what happens if you did. Now, this could be your front tooth or your back tooth, but it's important that if you lose a tooth, that you find it. Just kidding. You want to replace a missing tooth. And the reason why is the teeth adjacent to it and opposing it, they can start to shift. And when those teeth shift, usually problems occur either in the gums around them, or it makes it difficult to keep those teeth clean, and eventually you develop problems on those teeth. So we want to replace them. So there's three real easy ways to replace missing teeth. The first one, and the simplest, is something that removable. Okay, this is a removable prosthetic. It's got a little pink sort of flexible material here and a little tooth colored material. And then this will snap in where you see there's a missing tooth there. This would just snap in. Okay, a patient can function with this. These are not very comfortable. Most people don't like them, but it's a good Band-Aid and certainly an option, but like I said, I won't use them very often. Okay, the next option would be something called a 3-unit bridge. Okay, so let's just say you're missing your teeth. I'll give you a little example here. Here's a model, and it shows one of these teeth doesn't stay on here that well, but it shows this person's got a missing tooth in the middle. Okay, and what we could do is we can make what's called a 3-unit bridge. Okay, now in order to do this, we have to drill this tooth down to a nub. We call that an abutment tooth. And then we have to drill this tooth down to a nub, and that's also an abutment tooth. And then the 3-unit bridge has the abutments, which are the 2 side teeth, and what's called the pontic in the middle. And then this gets cemented in the mouth or bonded in the mouth. Now, this is a great quick way of resolving this problem, but if you don't need dentistry on either of these adjacent teeth, it's kind of aggressive. You're drilling on teeth just to save one tooth, and so there's a compromise there. Also, these can be difficult to clean. And because they're susceptible to tooth decay, if you can't clean in these little gaps between the adjacent teeth, because you can't floss regularly through here, people do develop tooth decay and periodontal disease on them. And statistically, within about 10 years, they get replaced. So, take it for what it's worth. They're not that great, but sometimes you have to do them. Okay, another option would be dental implants, which is what I always recommend. Dental implants would be, again, same thing. You've got a missing tooth here, and now we've got a titanium implant that we've put in the jawbone. Okay, these are very non-invasive. They're exceedingly predictable, very, very easy to do, and they're fast. It does take about 3 or 4 months for that titanium implant to integrate into the jaw, and then once it integrates into the jaw, we place what's called an abutment on top of it. And the abutment ends up as like the intermediary piece that enables us to then place a crown on top of that tooth. And ultimately what you end up with is 3 individual restorations you can floss through. Now, one of the advantages of implants is that they don't get tooth decay. So the bacteria that causes tooth decay won't go onto the surface. So if you have normal brushing and flossing habits, just average brushing and flossing habits, these things are going to way to go, because they're going to last you the rest of your life. Okay, now sometimes if you're missing multiple teeth, implants or partials and bridges are not the way to go, and you got to get a little bit deeper planning with implants. And so in this case, we've got a person who's missing multiple teeth. Okay, and there's just too many teeth missing here. She's missing 3 teeth, and then you've got an abutment tooth here and an abutment tooth there. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-unit bridge. Now, if a 3-unit bridge isn't great, a 5-unit bridge is definitely not great. So in this case, we make what's called an implant supported prosthetic. Okay, so we place 2 implants where the other teeth would have been if we were making a 3-unit bridge, and we make this prosthetic, which is a titanium to zirconia screw retained implant bridge. These things can be removed. They are incredible, and they generally last the rest of your life. What happens is you take the prosthetic, they get screwed in just like this, and it fills in the space. The adjacent teeth are not touched. And what's great about these is that while it is a bridge, right, like this bridge we talked about earlier, these aren't susceptible to tooth decay again. So if you have average brushing and flossing habits and you just use a water pick around these things, they're gonna last you the rest of your life. So I hope you don't lose any teeth, but if you do, moral of the story, you want to consider dental implants.